was only 22 years old. I joined the Mossad. A year after, I had started traveling all over the world. I was in 52 different countries for more than 12 years.
In this episode, we'll talk about how someone becomes a Mossad agent, real spy operations and intelligence secrets, and the hidden cost of living a double life.
You had the opportunity to visit India for some reason.
I came for operation, okay?
Okay.
And I think this is one of the most crazy operation ever.
The Grim Pager operation, when Mossad actually infiltrated the supply chain of pagers. How did Mossad do it?
Someone in the Mossad headquarters just pressed the red button and boom. And it was a turning point.
If you want to understand real espionage, mindset, and sacrifice, make sure to watch this episode till the end.
Benjamin Netanyahu, who is currently Israel's prime minister, lost his older brother Jonathan Netanyahu. In this operation, he was killed.
One of the best commando operation in Indian army, the officers learn about it.
So what is the price you had to pay in order to continue this life?
You enter, you start as a single, and you're retired as a divorce.
India has RAW and Israel has Mossad. But have you ever met someone who has worked inside one of them? Well, today, this Israeli man is going to reveal how Mossad or the Israeli intelligence operates, and he is an ex-Mossad himself. Namaskar, shalom, and welcome. My name is Ravital Moses, aka Moses in Israel, your favorite Indian Jew, born and raised in India and now living in Israel. And my goal is to bridge India and Israel one video at a time. And today we have Avner Avraham, who has been on real-life spy missions and who is, by the way, a former Mossad agent and is going to tell us why Mossad is one of the greatest intelligence agencies in the world. Welcome, Avraham, on Moses in Israel. How are you feeling today?
Hi, Revital. I feel good.
That's awesome. I have so many questions for you, and I am so sure that my audience, which is, by the way, from India, like we spoke off camera, are going to have so many questions. You're my first former Mossad agent, so I believe you're going to be my lucky charm, and having more agents. But let's begin with, how do you become a Mossad agent? Because everybody, when they grow up, they're thinking about becoming an engineer or an architect or a film star. I want to know, what was the mindset behind, or why did you choose to become a Mossad agent?
Okay, so the story started 42 years ago when I was a young soldier, 19 years old, in the Israeli Defense Force. And the Mossad headquarters was north of Beirut in Lebanon. And the Mossad agents used to cooperate with the local Christian Lebanese, okay, because we wanted to help them and fight together against the PLO. Okay?
Just for people to know, what is PLO?
PLO is the Yasser Arafat established the PLO is a terror organization. Today is like the Palestinian Authority in Ramallah, but actually it was before a terror organization. But unfortunately, they didn't leave the terror.
Okay.
And they still fight against us. So I was there as a young soldier that can speak Arabic, looks like Iraqian because my family, Jewish family, they came from Iraq. And I know that, by the way, there is a connection between Iraq and Mumbai and India.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The Baghdadi Jews who came
The
to...
Baghdadi Jews. So my parents came from Mosul. It's in north of Iraq.
Okay.
So anyway, I was in charge of special equipment that I used to bomb from far away.
Mm-hmm.
Cars. For example, if the Palestinians brought cars with bomb with remote control, I got a stronger remote control that I could turn on all the cars before we are going to a special meetings.
Okay.
And I became officer in the IDF, and after I retired, or I finished my military service, after 2 days, I started work for Mossad. for 28 years.
Wow, that's amazing. Wait 1 second. I'm just trying to absorb that in, because mostly, like, the general path of an Israeli is to serve the army and then either serve for a few more years or go back to their
Go
civilian
to
life.
go to university and
Right.
learn.
So what made you interested into Mossad? Or like, before we move on, let me share a quick insight. All of you have been watching this channel, but 80% of you have not subscribed to this channel. Only with your support, I'm able to grow, invite better guests, and create an impact in the India-Israel space. So please go ahead, click that subscribe button and help this channel grow. You can also support this channel on Ko-fi. With great content comes great responsibility and great expense. So every little bit helps. And now, back to the show. Why did you want to become a spy?
As a commander, one of my soldiers was a son of a Mossad agent. And he told me, would you like me to send your details and maybe they will invite you? So it was a year and a half before I joined the Mossad because it takes a year. They invite you for a first interview, second interview, then some testing here and there. And at the end of the day, they told me, okay, we are waiting for you.
You've passed and you're now
Yes.
officially.
So I was only 22 years old. I joined the Mossad. And the year after, I had started traveling all over the world. I was in 52 different countries for more than 12 years, including India, by the way.
Okay, we'll come to that more. We'll talk
Yeah.
about India and your experience in India. But I'm just curious to know, and I know there is a confidentiality to it, but what are some skills you need to be in an intelligence agency in general? Could be even like RAW or CIA or even or Mossad. Is that something that you can share with us?
I think it started with a clearance. For example, when I met uh, my girlfriend that became my wife, she needed to get also a clearance. And they told me if she don't pass the clearance, you have to decide if you want to marry her or you want to stay a Mossad agent.
Oh, so it was like a choice. Either you to
Yes.
pick this or this.
So the clearance, first of all, and now I was a communication officer in the IDF, and they look for someone that came from the communication and was officer also, and it was so for me it was great because I wanted to travel all over the world,
Mhm.
but there is a price for this.
That was my next question. That's exactly where I was getting because, it's a trade off. Being an agent, which means you kind of, or maybe not, live a dual life. So, what is the price you had to pay in order to continue this life?
You start as a single, and you're retired as a divorce.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, you don't have to sorry because it was good for me to divorce and for her also. And but yes, sometimes think about you have to stay in Bangkok
Mm-hmm.
in a fancy hotel, 5-star fancy hotel for 2 weeks in operation.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, your wife with 2 kids need to take care about everything, and you are far away from the family. And sometimes I was more than 1 month far away from home, so it's a problem. It's a problematic.
Definitely. So, long story short, you were unavailable for your partner. So, it didn't end up working out.
Yes,
Okay, got it. What was your life like before you joined Mossad? Because you were like 22, you said.
I didn't have any life before Mossad. I was in high school, and then I was in the IDF. I was only 2 days before I joined the Mossad, so all my life I was.
But what was your childhood like? Like, did you grow up in the city? Did you grow up in a kibbutz? Tell us more about that.
Well, I grew up in a regular city and in tradition family.
Okay.
And I didn't like it because I was in non-traditional or non. I mean, people that don't keep the Judaism.
Mm-hmm.
I was the only one in the class that do it, and for me it was very hard because my parents didn't let me go to parties during the weekend or Shabbat and things like this.
Okay.
And I didn't like the school. I'm very creative. Even today, very, very creative, but I didn't like the school. I mean, I really believe that even today, the school is a kind of jail. I mean, they just put the kids from the morning to the evening or to the afternoon, and they force you to learn. They force you to, and now think about that. I'm lecturing in universities in the States. I became a world expert in some Mossad operation. For example, the capture of Adolf Eichmann, the Nazi that we know, of course, the Eichmann's trial. So I became expert in the capture of Eichmann
Mm-hmm.
and other operations. But even today, I don't have any good memories from the school or from the high school.
Was that sort of your inspiration to get it into something that was completely defying all the laws of, having a normal life?
Well, I came to a place that you can imagine about things. You can come with the crazy ideas, and you have the budget, and if you can explain to your boss and he understand you, you said, okay, let's do it.
Hmm.
Let's do it in your way. Let's think different. Let's think outside the box. Let's think outside the pager.
Well, that brings us to our first operation that we want to discuss is the Grim Pager operation. For everybody who didn't know, it happened in 2024, September of 2024, when Mossad actually infiltrated the supply chain of pagers, which were used by Hezbollah, which is a terrorist organization in Lebanon. How did we do it? How did Mossad do it? Tell us more.
So actually, it started 12 years ago when the Mossad um, sell to the Hezbollah 16,000 walkie-talkie equipments. 16,000, and inside each one of them, small bomb. If you decide, you can send a signal to all the equipments in the same time, and it bombs. Okay. Now the problem was that they don't use it in the everyday life, so it was in a storage.
Right.
And then someone else came with the idea. We knows that they are using a pages.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we buy and produce a similar but a better, a new version of the pager,
Mm-hmm.
bigger, stronger, waterproof, long life battery, whatever, in a good price? And they bought from us 1,500 of them. Now, we all remember the sad day of October 7th, the massacre that happened to us
Mm-hmm.
on 2023. And 1 month after the October 7th, they already bought 500 of the pages. So we needed, and we decided to wait until they are buying all of them, 5,500. And on September 2024, someone in the Mossad headquarters just pressed the red button and boom. And it was a turning point. And I think this is one of the most crazy operation ever.
I think it sort of like shook the entire world because it
Yes.
was everywhere on the news. And people, I remember people from India were like, "Whoa, this is crazy! Like, tell us more." Because I know, like, let's say, Mossad was in charge of getting these pages, putting
To
bombs in them
produce them.
to produce them. But where did they buy it from? Who was the middle supplier to actually? Can you reveal that?
So we found the same woman that worked in the original in the regular pager company,
Okay.
and she was already in contact with the Hezbollah.
Hmm.
And we offered her a better price, better salary,
Okay.
and a nice office in Europe. So she moved to Europe, and she was the point of contact.
Wait, so was she like a double agent?
No, she didn't know.
She didn't know at all.
She didn't know at all. I mean, she thought
Oh,
it's
I
a
see.
company, and the whole idea is that everything is real. It's not
Hmm.
fake. It was a real company that said a real pager with a small bomb. By the way, it was very, very small bomb because we didn't want to kill them. And we didn't want to kill also the people so that surround, like the family members. So it was a very small amount that can only just injure your eyes and fingers.
What was the intention behind this? Because I know it went viral. So, what was Mossad's intention of showing to the world about Hezbollah?
The Hezbollah is a terror organization, and in south of mostly in south of Lebanon. And today the Lebanese that want I lived in Lebanon. I know Lebanon. The Lebanese want a real life, a good life. So think about a proxy that everything that they do it's only for Iran to send missiles to Israel and to our villages and cities. One day after October 7, on October 8, they start sending missiles to Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, with no reason.
Yeah.
And now 2 months ago, when we started the war the second war in Iran
Mm-hmm.
together with the U.S. Army,
Mm-hmm.
a day after, on I think it was March 2nd, they also start sending missiles to Israel. But for us, it was opportunity just to occupy the
Mm.
south of Lebanon, and there is no people there. There is no villages there.
Right. Right. And also I think to a point where people said that it is a resistance just like Hamas, which is completely untrue. It is a terrorist organization and a proxy of Iran. But also Hezbollah was infiltrated. Like what I mean to say is the lot of the common people that you saw in Lebanon were actually Hezbollah members. They were just, you know, showing as if they were shop vendors or like somebody buying vegetables or owner of a shop phone store, but they're all actually Hezbollah
Actually,
terrorists.
when you have 1,500 pages and you have uh, 50,000 terrorists,
Mhm.
you don't give everyone a pager. You don't give the cooker or the one that clean your car a pager.
Mhm.
Hey, and you send a message, can you clean my car? No, it was all levels of and commanders, managers. Even the Iranian ambassador
Mhm.
in Lebanon got a pager, and he got the beep beep to read the message, and he also lost, I think, one or two fingers and maybe one of his eyes.
So it revealed who were really behind Hezbollah. There was a crazy operation, and I'm actually fascinated by how this entire operation happened. Let's move on to the next one, which happened like back in the day, but it is a very popular operation that people often talk about. To give everybody context, it is called Operation Entebbe. Entebbe is actually the capital of Uganda. There was a plane that was hijacked from Tel Aviv to Paris, and there were a bunch of hijackers that boarded the plane in Athens.
Athens.
And actually, Mossad took over this operation, and you will explain. But this was the operation where Bibi, who is Benjamin Netanyahu, who is currently Israel's prime minister, lost his older brother, Jonathan Netanyahu, in this operation. He was killed.
Yeah.
Over to you.
So Yoni Netanyahu, Bibi's brother, he was the chief or the head of the Sayeret Matkal, the elite commander unit, okay, of the IDF. He wasn't the commander of the whole operation because it was a big, huge operation with planes with more than 200 soldiers. But the core of the operation was to release their hostages.
Mm.
Now, the Mossad was responsible for bringing information, inside information. For example, one of the passengers, she was a nurse, and when she found out that the plane hijacked, she decided to injure herself, and said, "Hey,"
Why?
and she told the German woman terrorist, she told her, "I'm having a miscarriage. I must go to hospital." So when they landed in Libya to refuel the planes, she could go directly to a hospital, and day after she landed in Heathrow, London. So the MI6, together with the Mossad, questioned her, and she gave them the whole inside information.
Mm.
Now, something very interesting, if we compare what happened in October 7 in Gaza, about the hostages, they took more than 250 hostages. And I knew exactly that they are not going to put all of them in one place. They will share them in families or they will hide them in tunnels.
It was their strategy.
Exactly. But in Entebbe, after one day after they landed in Entebbe, they decided to make a separation between Israelis and non-Israeli by the passports. And they released, without asking for anything, they released all the foreigners. Okay? And all the foreigners flew to Paris in two different flights.
Mhm.
And Mossad agents, together with the French secret services, they cooperate together to question the foreign hostages. Some of
Who were
them didn't.
released.
Yes, they released, and some of them didn't want to cooperate, and some of them came with a lot of information.
Hmm.
Now it's all about small details. When you have a small details, and you say, "Look, there is 8 terrorists." And this one got brown shoes, and this one is smoke from time to time is need to smoke, and they are staying and they are sleeping in this room, in the VIP room, and what is the day routine of each one of them, what kind of weapons they have. Can you describe me the whole? It was, by the way, they kept all of them in the old terminal
I was going to
in
ask,
the
like, when
airport.
they landed in Uganda, where were they? What was
They
their living
landed
situation?
so they landed near the regular new terminal,
Okay.
but they got a small terminal, so they just taxi to the small old and not use anymore terminal
Okay.
without furnitures. They needed to just to sit on the floor.
So let's say the office, I don't know what it's called, but like the airport over there had no idea that this had happened, or they knew, right?
Well, the crazy president of Uganda cooperated with the terrorists. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. He tried to be a fair negotiator,
I
but we
see.
found out that he is also
The
part of it.
plan.
Yes. And so the Mossad also brought aerial photos day before the operation by sending a Mossad agent that was a pilot, and he came with a small plane and made aerial photos. And then he landed in Nairobi, Kenya, and the Mossad sent with the special El Al plane, not El Al plane, Israeli Air Force plane. They sent the negative. You remember the negative that we need to develop pictures with a
At that
negative?
time,
Yes,
for context, in what year did this happen?
exactly 50 years ago,
Okay.
76.
76.
Yes.
Okay.
So it was a really one of the best commando operation, and I know that the Indian Army, the officers, learn about it every year. They in the school. I know that they teach them about this operation,
Mm,
how to plan, and because it was a huge success. Actually, we lost, unfortunately, Yoni Netanyahu and also 4 hostages, 3 of them in the terminal,
I see.
one killed by the terrorists, 2 of them by our friendly fire, unfortunately,
I see.
and another hostages that killed. She was in a hospital and they just killed her. She wasn't there when the IDF came,
I see.
so they killed her after 2 days.
I see. Okay. Now that we know that Mossad took information from the foreign hostages that came back, some cooperated, some did not. And there was an Israeli Mossad pilot
Yes.
who took aerial photos. What happened then?
First of all, with these photos, Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin approved the operation.
Okay.
He decided to approve the operation.
Okay.
4 C-130s with the 200 soldiers, and also the Mossad and the IDF decided to come like with a fake limousine and 2 Land Rovers. It looks like the president is coming to visit with the same limousine with the flags, with 2 Land Rovers full of Ugandan soldiers.
Mm,
It was the elite commando unit dressed like Ugandan soldiers,
okay.
and they were in the first C-130 Hercules. They landed and they drove directly the airport, to the terminal.
Mhm.
They killed the terrorists, and they released in less than a minute. They start releasing the less than a minute to release and take out the hostages,
Okay.
and they took them to the empty C-130.
Okay.
Okay, because they came with the 4-1, so the last one was empty.
Mhm.
And he was also the first to fly to Nairobi, Kenya, because you need to refuel the planes. You cannot fly from Tel Aviv to Uganda and back without refueling the plane. So it was also a special connection with the Kenyan secret services.
Mm.
Also, we made a local, a temporary, based on tents, a field hospital
Okay.
in the airport in Nairobi,
Okay.
and yeah, it was a great success.
There was that sounds like a movie. But I know we lost lives and we still remember. I think as Israeli people and the Jewish people, we never forget um what happened to us, who did it to us, and also who helped us. So thank you for sharing.
It was
Um,
the PLA, by the way, the PLO.
yes.
The PLO with the two terrorists from Bader Meinhof. It's a German organization.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's been happening from then, and it's still happening.
Yes.
But let's change the mood a little bit. Let's talk
Okay.
about your relationship with India.
Okay.
So you said that you had the opportunity to visit India for some reason.
As a
Okay.
tourist.
As a tourist.
Yes.
How was your
Sometimes you have
experience?
your cover is to be a tourist,
Right.
but you have to also behave like a tourist. Okay.
So-
You have to enjoy, spend money, and yeah. I came for operation. Okay.
okay.
But I came to I was in New Delhi
Okay.
in one of the nice hotel there, and I remember that when I went to the flea market, no flea market, the market,
There's
center
so many
market,
markets in
the
Delhi.
market.
I'm
Okay,
actually not from Delhi, but like there are a couple of
it's
markets
like a
there.
central big famous market,
Okay.
and a little boy came and told me, "Hey, you know, you look exactly like he gave me the name of a very famous Bollywood
Actor?
actor, yes. And I don't remember the name, but anyway, I thought that he's doing this because he want me to buy something from him. Okay.
Was you a poor child?
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought maybe, but then when I flew to Mumbai, someone in the flight told me the same. And when I checked in the hotel, the woman in the reception told me, did you know that you looked exactly like the famous
Actor.
Yes, but it's not good for operation that people remember you and say
Yeah. Cause you're like, oh, you look like somebody and they remember you. So how did you deal with like not being recognized? And you were also telling me off camera that they wanted to come and take pictures with you.
yes,
It
yes.
usually happens in India.
So
Um,
so let me tell you something about James Bond.
okay.
Okay, James Bond. Uh, so James Bond is exactly the opposite of a Mossad agent because we are not so beautiful and tall. We don't wear a bow tie. We don't drive a luxury cars. I mean, it doesn't make sense that you come to Istanbul and you drive a luxury car, red car, and everybody say, "Wow, see this guy with the suit, and he's so tall, and he got a special watch, and he looks very well, and he speaks so many languages. If I speak 5 languages, I will not show it. I will not show that the people in restaurant that I can understand what they are
You
talking
have to be
about.
low key, like you can't
Yes,
reveal
you have
all
to
your
buy you have
skills.
to buy the clothes in the same country. You have to cut your hair in the same country so you look the same.
Really?
Okay,
Mm.
don't take don't take a red car. Take a white or a gray car. Okay,
Okay.
okay. By the way, I have a white Mercedes now, but I don't know why. But it's white.
Wait, what is white?
white Mercedes
Oh, white
is my car.
Mercedes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Sava. Oh, Akhla.
Afla, Afla.
Okay.
But I'm consulting spy films in Hollywood.
Wait, okay. So now that you're an ex-Mossad, right? You're not in the
Yes.
Mossad anymore. What is your life like? I know you told me you're doing consulting for Hollywood spy movies or maybe Bollywood, we don't know. You also built a spy museum.
Yeah, no, it was in Mossad headquarters.
Okay.
My last job was to build and to manage the first Israeli spy museum. It's inside the Mossad headquarters.
Okay.
So that's why I became expert in Mossad operations, and I also became a professional curator.
Mm.
And I'm produced
Curator for who?
for exhibitions,
Okay.
art exhibitions, and spy exhibitions.
But this could be for anybody, right? Or is it just for like
Yes,
intelligence
no, it
or
was in Tel Aviv University.
I see. Okay.
But now I got I have the knowledge and the background to build or to produce spy films or television series. And now, when I'm consulting spy films, I'm also playing cameo in each one of them. And you can always find, if you look at Operation Finale,
Uh-huh.
you should do homework and watch Operation Finale, the capture of Adolf Eichmann in Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
You will find me in two different scenes, but you will find also my name you will find Avner's bar, because we shot all the film in Argentina,
Mm,
and sometimes it didn't look like Tel Aviv or Israel.
I see.
So the producer told me, I would like to, before we do the scene inside the bar,
Mm-hmm.
we will show a sign in Hebrew and English, Avner's bar. So if you can find the right colors and the font that
Yeah.
they used to have in the 60s.
Yeah.
By the way, it's very similar. I was in a very big event in New York, and they interviewed me about in 92nd Street Y. It's a famous place, and they interviewed me about the film
Mm-hmm.
and what is the difference between making a Hollywood film and Mossad operation. So I told them, in the same case, you have hundreds of people taking part of the film or the operation, and you spend millions of dollars. But at the end of the day, instead of dead body, you have film.
Mm.
So
That's a
I'm
great
consulting. Yeah, I'm consulting films. I'm also helping screenwriters when they need ideas. Okay, what to write,
mm-hmm.
how to solve a problem.
Yeah. Oh, so like because of your experience and because you've studied so much, you're able to help storytellers or screenwriters how to like actually what could be a great catch to the movie or something like that?
Yeah,
Or
for example, you have a cafe.
okay.
So take a cafe in a corner, and there is two doors, so you can enter from this door and you can left from the other door. Things like this.
It's the details.
It's a details, yes, details.
Okay.
And props also. I produce props. I established the biggest speaker bureau in Israel that deal with the spy and the security. I have more than 500 lecturers, including former CIA, FBI agents, Mossad, Shin
You
Bet,
have your
whatever.
own for people who don't know, he has his own podcast. It's called Mossadnik, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
But it's
yes,
in Hebrew.
yes.
But if you can, are there subtitles for people who can watch in English? Are there subtitles in the video?
No, I don't think so.
We'll figure it out. If it's on YouTube, probably you can just
Ah,
start auto captions.
yes, yes. So in my podcast, I interview famous people that got the connection to a famous operations.
Okay.
For example, I interviewed Jacob Perry. He was the chief of Shin Bet. Shin
Okay.
Bet is like it's like the Mossad but works inside Israel,
Inside Israel.
like
Right.
FBI.
Okay.
And it was a great interview. I also asked him if he got a dream to be in Mossad, not in the Shin Bet, because the Shin Bet need to works with the Palestinian inside, and we are lucky to fly all over the world and go to cocktails parties and whatever.
Do you
And
guys have like healthy competitions like like Mossad versus Shin Bet and or like are Shin Bet people competing to get into Mossad or Mossad people are like I'm sick of traveling, I want to go back to Israel. Is there like a thing?
so this Shin Bet mostly works in the Palestinian authorities,
Okay.
Palestinian areas,
Okay.
Gaza and other places.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's not fun to work with these terrorists, but we are doing something else. I mean, you are coming for operation. For example, you know that someone is coming to London, and you want to make a connection with him, and you want to offer him something, or to talk with him,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe you want to take him to introduce him to a beautiful woman, and he go with her to a restaurant, and in the meantime you can bug his
Car.
no, bug his car or room, or you can also check his computer in the
Mm.
hotel and whatever. I mean,
That's
things like this.
crazy.
Yes.
I can't believe I still can't believe we are like almost 35 minutes into this episode, and I still can't believe I have an ex Mossad sitting right in front of me. This it's crazy, but it's whatever we see in movies, it's not even close to what you guys have done in real life. And of course, lives are at stake. We have lost people in the process. So I want to say thank you for your service. It's not been easy, but you're doing an awesome job post your Mossad service as well. And we are almost towards the end of this episode because I know we said we wanted to do mini episodes. So hopefully more to come. But I always ask my guests, because my audience is from India, is there a special message you would like to give them?
Oh, I was in India and I like the people there. I know that we have a very strong relation and a stronger security relation between Israel and India. And I wish you all the best. And I really want to watch some Bollywood films related to spy, and I promise to come and visit India. And I like your food also.
That's awesome. Thank you. I was telling Avner that he should definitely watch Dhurandhar. And hopefully, in our second episode, whenever we do plan to film, we can do some more, we can have a detailed conversation about more of that and more operations that you can talk to us about. For everybody who has been watching, thank you for tuning in. Avner, once again, thank you for giving us
Thank you for
time
having me.
from your busy schedule. I know you're a very busy man. So thank you for taking our time.
My pleasure.
And in the meantime, stay safe, watch the right content, and I'll see you next time.